Hey, this is Joseph Leif, and I want to welcome you to this training today. We're going to talk a little bit about one of the aspects of the contextual leadership model. This is a model of leadership that's designed for today's workforce, not for the 20th century assembly line. We're no longer there. We're in the 21st century, folks. Let's use a model of leadership that matches. As a manager, you need to help your teams to be productive. You want it for them. Not only do you want it for them, your business leadership demands it. You are evaluated on it. Your bonus, your advancement, your very job depends on your teams being productive. And yet, we're told that managers are supposed to stop asking for status, stop assigning work, and stop attending meetings. How are you supposed to do your job when you're told to stop doing all these things? How is a manager, a director, a vice president to do their job if they're told to stop doing all these things? What if I told you that I have a way that you could make your teams 130% more likely to realize strong business results? That's 130%. That's not a 30% improvement. Read that correctly. It's a 130%. So if they were delivering widgets and they delivered 10 a week, they would be delivering not 20, but 23. That's huge. That's huge improvement. What if you could get that from your teams? What if you could also improve employee engagement and productivity, their creativity, all of these things with one change, with one little thing that doesn't violate the agile belief that you should stop asking for status, stop assigning work, and stop attending meetings? You can improve your team's productivity by 130%, their engagement, their creativity, all by taking this one approach, and that is taking the approach of being a coach. Now let's talk about coaches. What is a coach for just a second? Probably everyone's most familiar with sports coaches. That's the first place you think of it. But you've also probably heard of life coaches and business coaches. So a sports coach is someone who knows the sport well and helps the athletes to achieve their best potential as athletes. They know the rules of the game. They know the ins and outs. They understand usually physiology, people's bodies, how they work. So if you're going to coach a skier, you understand strength and conditioning. You understand nutrition. You understand energy, sleep. All these factors play into being a sports coach. And you're telling your athlete what to do. A life coach, on the other hand, typically is someone who comes along beside you, they say. They come aside and they do something that they call coactive coaching. And coactive coaching is the co-creation of your end result. Most life coaches will say that they don't have an agenda when they come to you and that they just want to help you realize your best you. So you could potentially do things that are crazy and they'll just continue to help you doing them, even though they might think that they're crazy. But because of the way they believe that coaching operates, they won't insert their own opinions into that. Now, business coaches are kind of a mishmash of these things. Some of them have beliefs that they want you to accomplish or beliefs that they want to steer you towards. Some of them act more like life coaches and will be steering you more into whatever it is that you want to do. I personally have a very specific agenda. I know the kinds of things that I have seen have success. And if something lies outside of my range of experience, then I will go do the more coactive thing and say, let's explore it. Let's try it out. An agile coach, which I've done for years, is someone who understands the concepts of agility, the principles that underlie it, the values that make it work well, and coaches people toward those things. Different than a coactive coach who just coaches you in any direction you want to go. An agile coach coaches you toward a certain outcome, a certain set of behaviors that they want to instill in leaders, and certain ways of working, ways of interacting. Now let's talk about two things that are closely related to, but somewhat different than coaching. So first we have coaching. The next is mentoring. And then we'll talk about consulting. So coaching is taking a more inquisitive model, an inquisitive approach to guidance. So when I am coaching a leader, I am asking them to discover and asking them questions about their actions, asking them questions about their teams, asking them questions about their direct reports, trying to get them to come to a realization. It's kind of a Socratic approach where we are trying to help them discover the answers themselves and not just flat out tell them. There's mentoring. Mentoring is sharing your life experience in examples. So when I think of mentoring, I think of someone who has been down the road that you want to be going down, and they are helping you through their life examples. I experienced this. I experienced that. This is what I came up with. And the third aspect is consulting. Now, consulting is, well, you hire a consultant to tell you what to do. You don't hire consultants to ask you questions and help you come up with the answer. When you hire a consultant, you want them to have the answer. And that's what a consultant does. As you can see, they're very different models for often achieving the same outcome. You're trying to get a person to go down a particular path. One of them is pairing with them and being nice with them. One of them is sharing your life experience and guiding them. One is telling them what to do. And there's actually, I believe in my experience, there's place for all three of these. And that's what I call the CMC model. And the CMC model is coaching, mentoring, and consulting. And you actually move back and forth between those during any coaching conversation with your client or with your employees. You always want to start from a place of coaching, though, because when someone is receiving coaching, they're mentally the most active. They are trying to solve the problem themselves, and you are trying to ask truly curious questions. You want to have true curiosity, and that's really key to coaching. Is yes, you have a place that you're trying to get them toward, but it is not in a manipulative kind of way. You're really trying to understand what they believe about the particular event that you're coaching them through, so that you can ask good questions and so that they come to the understandings, come to the realizations themselves. In mentoring, it's very similar, but instead of just asking questions, you're sharing your life experience. So what I will do is I'll be in a conversation with the client, and I will start with pure curiosity and interest. Why did you do that? So there was some event, and I'm coaching a client after it, and I will say, well, so what made you make the choice to talk to that person that way? What made you want to engage them that way? And then the client will come back and share their thoughts and feelings of what they came up with. So when I'm working with a client and I'm in coaching mode, I might say something like, so Jeff, what made you want to tell that person that they had to complete the report by Friday? And honestly asking the question, my agenda is to understand their drive and to help them see that there may have been a better way to get the person to do that work without telling them what to do and have them self-discover. So basically, I want them to do what I'm doing with them. So I'll ask an honestly curious question. And so the person may come back and justify their answer, and it was because I knew that it had to get done and that this person wasn't going to do it if I didn't let them do it, didn't tell them what to do. And so since I'm trying to get them to let go of a command and control approach and receive a more collaborative approach, a more coaching model for leadership, I may continue down that road kind of asking them questions. But if they don't clarify and come to that realization themselves, I'll shift gears. And that's the gears on this page. I'll shift gears to mentoring. I'll share experiences that I've seen at other clients. Well, that's really interesting, Jeff. When I was at XYZ Corp, I saw some people there that did it that way, and this is the outcome that they had. That the teams didn't feel empowered. Yes, they got the work done, but they didn't improve their quality. They didn't improve their throughput, their speed of delivery. And these were the other negative outcomes that I saw because of that. If Jeff still doesn't get it based on that, I will move to consulting. And in consulting, you just tell them, no, Jeff, next time I want you to try to ask them questions instead of telling them. I want you to try to truly delegate this authority. And then I'll move back to coaching. See how that works? So you want to start with coaching, work your way towards mentoring, and then if you have to, go into consulting. Ideally, you're able to get your results strictly by staying in the coaching mode. You're able to get the client, or in your case, your employee, your direct report, to come to the realizations themselves and come up with some kind of experiment that they are going to try and do themselves the next time they have an opportunity like that. So this is the moving back and forth coaching, mentoring, consulting model. As a manager, you are supposed to do some things. One, you're supposed to help your teams establish and take actions towards goals. Two, you're supposed to help them become more self-reliant. You're supposed to help your teams gain more job satisfaction. You're supposed to help your teams contribute more effectively to the team and to the whole organization. You're supposed to help them take greater responsibility and accountability for their actions and commitments. And you're supposed to help them work more easily in productivity with others, both you and your boss and their peers, etc. And you're supposed to help them be able to communicate more effectively. What if I told you that these 7 items were exactly what the results were that came from a study done by the Pearson organization called High Impact Performance Management? That study showed that these 7 things were some of the most powerful outcomes of providing coaching to your employees. If this approach speaks to you and you want to go further with it, I have a special program that's specifically designed for leaders like you. What I need you to do, though, is drop me an email at joseph@whitewaterprojects.com. From there, we'll get on the phone and take some time to talk about what the program is and if it might be a fit for you. Thanks for joining me today, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.